Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today's amazing guest is Elle de Posson, who is French, clearly, and she is an intuitive business mentor, a healer, spiritual teacher, and the author of The Self-Healing Spiral and the Path of Femininity, the 6 Gifts of Your Sovereignty. And she is just this amazing, energetic, lovely human. And I can't wait for you to meet her. So let's go and say hello. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhige, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Give a woman a fish, feed her for a day. Teach a woman to fish, feed her for a lifetime. Teach a woman to fish, end world hunger. Have you ever wanted to help people improve their health journey? Have you thought about coaching people with a keto lifestyle? Would you like to become an integrative health coach? Well, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, or IIN as we call it, is the largest nutrition school in the country. And in 2011, I graduated from their program and became a health coach. It was completely awesome. We learned over 100 different dietary theories and talk about craziness and confusion. My wish for you is that we can lock arms and create a tribe of health coaches all around the country, all around the world to spread the keto message. If this resonates with you and you would like to look into this option deeper, please go to my blog at highenergygirl.com and click on the link to the right of the homepage. Here you can grab the curriculum guide and see if it inspires you. Since I care so much about my listeners, I negotiated the very best tuition rate for you at IIN. Either you can contact them directly and give them my name, or I will introduce you to a counselor so you can decide if this is a good fit for you and your career goals. Let me know how I can support you in this coaching career opportunity. Hey, Ella, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm glad we're having this conversation.
So for the listeners that don't know you yet, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Elle de Posson, as you can hear from my charming French accent. French is my mother tongue. I'm from Belgium originally, but now I live in Canada, close to Vancouver. And I am really passionate about bridging the spiritual world and the material world. And I work mostly with women entrepreneurs, but I also work with women in general to really help them embody their divine feminine in their life and in their business. Because when you do so, it really invites more intuition, more purpose, more ease, more health, and more money as well into your life.
Awesome. I love that. So why don't you talk a little bit about what brought you to this time in your life or this space in your life?
Of course.
How did you get here?
So I started being an entrepreneur 4 years ago now, as I was healing myself from my divorce. And I created this method to help women heal from trauma and really heal their whole life through the power of self-love. And so I called it the Self-Healing Spiral. I wrote a first book that I published. And then I was really helping women through that whole process and even coaching coaches to have that method in their toolbox and also help their clients with it. And then after some time, I started feeling a little bit, I wouldn't say burnt out, but, less energized by everything that I was doing. And I felt that something was off. I was more and more misaligned, and something new wanted to come through in my life. And it's very interesting because I was doing this dream several times a month. And it was the dream of a man and a woman that are walking in a beautiful city, imagine Paris or New York, with like beautiful white buildings. And the man is then talking to the woman. They meet on the street and he says to her, I have a beautiful hotel room, come and follow me. And she's intrigued, she's flattered, he's seducing. They go to the hotel room, they get undressed, they start to kiss. And then he says that she's the one for him and that he wants to marry her. And suddenly the woman is like, whoa, 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 wait, what? I'm already committed to someone, actually. And she runs away. And I would wake up from that dream being like, oh, I just did the biggest mistake of my life. So I would wake up with this horrible sensation of guilt and fear. And yeah, it was not fun. And then I would look at my partner and I was like, okay, it's good. We're safe. Everything's fine.
Oh, how funny.
And then this dream kept coming back, and I thought I was, afraid of getting married again, because then my partner proposed and we were engaged and da. But I kept doing the same dream, or like very similar dream, after our wedding. So then I have a friend who's a dream therapist, and I called her and I was like, I really need your help with this thing. I don't know what's happening, but it's not fun to wake up with so much guilt. And we had a look, and she really made me understand that that man was my masculine and that the woman in the dream was my divine feminine. And that my masculine was very much taking the lead, thinking that he knew what the feminine wanted, and kind of being abusive as well. And so I really then went on a journey of making sure that my feminine and masculine were at peace again, and to connect with my feminine and ask her, what is that thing that you're already committed to? And the reason why you didn't want to stay with the man in the dream. That dream was also telling me that I was meant to do something else than what I was actually doing in my life. And so I really went on a whole healing journey with these two energies that I have inside of me and that everybody has inside of them. And then one day I received a very clear message in a meditation that I needed to write a book about the divine feminine. And then if you read the book, you'll read in the introduction also how I got woken up in the middle of the night by my spirit guides, who gave me the title of the book and the 6 gifts of the feminine that I was going to talk about.
Okay.
And so that's the story, basically. And so now I'm really teaching what the divine feminine is and really empowering women to realize that we might have been told that that we have to do life a certain way, apply all these silent rules of you have to work hard, you have to play hard, you have to be beautiful, don't speak too much, don't be too angry, don't be too noisy, all these things that we have been told that we had to behave or be. And I'm really inviting women to reclaim their feminine power and build life on their own terms.
Cool. Love it. So what are those 6 main things, those 6 categories?
Yes. So when you go on a journey of reclaiming your divine feminine, you move away from the wounded feminine to the divine feminine, because feminine energy has these 2 aspects. And first, we have to understand that the wounded feminine is that part of yourself that is really craving connection. So feminine energy is all about connection, togetherness, community, whereas masculine energy is much more individualistic. And so as women, we have these 2 energies inside of us, but we are feminine essenced beings. So we're going to lean more towards feeling connected to others. And we are craving that oneness because we already have felt separated from the womb of our mother when we were born. You could even go further. We felt separated from spirit when our soul was created. And so we come into the earth with this urge to feel at one again and connected to others. And the wounded feminine is that part of yourself that is negating herself in order to feel connected. So you're going to be afraid of saying no because you don't want the other person to reject you or to be upset at you. You're going to dim your light because you don't want others to be jealous. You're not going to share about this weird spiritual experiences or insights that you have because you don't want people to think that you're weird. You're going to dress a certain way because you want to be loved. So it's all these little things that we do in order to be loved and not to be rejected. So it's basically very much living in our ego. And when you reclaim your divine feminine power, it really starts by moving away from that part of yourself that is negating yourself into your most authentic self. So the first chapter where I talk about the feminine gifts is the gift of authenticity. This is really where it starts. And to be your most authentic self, you go on a journey that is healing the witch wound, the bitch wound, and the whore wound. Did you ever hear about these?
No, but that's funny. The witch, bitch, and the whore. I love it.
Exactly. So it is believed that these three wounds have been passed down by Mary Magdalene. Do you know a little bit about Mary Magdalene?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so Mary Magdalene, she was a very independent woman. She was very tapped in, very intuitive, very psychic. And she was also very sensual. She was known to be a prostitute. You know, that's what the Bible tells about her. The truth is that she was very independent, but today, when you are too independent and you put yourself first, you can be called a bitch. When you're very tapped in, very psychic, and you share about your intuitive guidance or so on, people could easily call you a witch. And we know about the witch hunts that went on in Europe for centuries. And then when you're too sensual, or you wear a skirt that's too short, or, you know, you're really in your pleasure, in your body, in your sensuality, you can easily be called a whore. And she was these three things, but from the really powerful aspect of them. Because the truth is that when you're very connected to your sensuality, to your body, and to your pleasure, you're very creative. Sexual energy is creative energy. And when you have an orgasm, you can have downloads and you connect to your power. And actually, the women at the time that we called whores, they were priestesses because they were trained into sacred sexuality practices. And so a whore is actually a woman in her power, in her sensuality. A witch is a woman that's very connected to her gifts and her talents. And a bitch is actually a loving and caring woman because she knows that it is by taking care of herself first and putting her needs first that she can then give her best to her clients, her partner, or her kids.
So would you say that every woman has a little bit of each of those? Maybe they're stronger in one point or another?
So these three wounds are present in the collective. Like energetically, it's there, and every woman has them. Even if you've worked on it, you might still be carrying some traces from your mother or your grandmother or from past lives as well. And we all have them to a certain degree. Yeah.
Interesting. Your book sounds so fascinating. Oh my gosh.
It's an interesting one for sure.
When did it come out?
It came out the 15th of November.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. I mean, I love all this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So can you help the listeners comprehend what is happening with our world, with our earth, when it comes to, I've heard from a lot of people that we are coming into the time of the divine feminine, like the masculine energy is going to be going down, not in a bad way, but in a way that puts the woman up on a pedestal because she's been squashed so long by the men.
Yes.
So what does that mean exactly?
It means a lot of different things. So when you understand feminine and masculine energies, and just to give you a bit of context so that you understand what I'm talking about, you know that masculine energy is very connected to the day, the sun, and warm energy. Feminine energy, it's the night, the moon, cold energy, right? And in traditional Chinese medicine, we call it yin and yang. And traditional Chinese medicine, they teach us everything starts with the yin, and then the yang comes after. So the yin, the feminine energy, is very grounded, very material, whereas yang energy is very immaterial and volatile. And so everything starts actually with that feminine yin energy. Think about it. Every man is birthed from the womb of a mother, of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, which is masculine energy, starts at midnight when it's the night, when it's the feminine. Everything starts with the feminine. And where masculine energy is about doing and executing and protecting and providing, feminine energy is about daydreaming, connecting with your intuition, your desires, your vision, surrendering, trusting, etc. So when you know that, you realize that the feminine is supposed to lead, because the feminine is the one that is connected to the soul's desires, to the vision. She's the one that's receiving. Feminine energy is receiving, whereas masculine is giving. So when you are in your feminine energy, you receive spiritual guidance, ideas, creativity. And then you call in your sacred warrior, your divine masculine, so that you can have the structure or all the tools that you need to really birth that idea. So that's one way to look at it. We are going back to the way nature works, is that everything is supposed to start with the feminine, and the feminine is meant to lead. So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that we have lived in a world where the masculine was very present, and masculine energy is not very connected to emotions. And so that has created a lot of chaos, a lot of abuse of power, because that's the wounded masculine. He's very much in power and aggressivity and gaslight, etc. And we need to heal all the chaos that's been created, or inner chaos, but also the chaos on the planet, because the chaos on the planet is just a reflection of our inner chaos. And how do we start healing that? By coming back to the feminine. Because the feminine, she knows she can have a very, very healthy relationship with her emotions. She's not afraid to cry, whether it's on her own or in public. She's not afraid of her anger. She has a very healthy relationship with her anger. That doesn't mean that you're going to start shouting at people in the street if they annoy you, or if someone, cuts you in the car or in the street, whatever. You just know that your anger is there to teach you about boundaries. And you express your anger in a calm but firm way. And coming back to the divine feminine and the divine feminine that's rising now, it's because it's an invitation for us to heal, to come back to ourselves, to come back to our souls, and to build a new world that is in sacred union, actually, between the masculine and the feminine. And then there is a third way you can look at it. It's if you look at the stars. We've been living in the age of Pisces, which is a very masculine sign. And we are now moving to the age of Aquarius, which is a very feminine sign. And so the 21st of December 2020, we moved into that age of Aquarius officially. And the age of Aquarius, it's all about community, togetherness, sharing your gifts, being in your authenticity. And these are all feminine values. And we are going to build a whole new world. A lot of people talk about the new earth, but we are going to build a new earth on these values. And this is why we're experiencing so much chaos right now on the planet. It's because chaos is breaking things apart so that we can create something new. And the divine feminine is the birther of this something new that we are creating.
How does that make you feel, knowing all that you know? Does it make you feel excited? Does it make you feel worried?
I am very hopeful. When you look at the lens, from the lens of we're building something new, yes, it is going to take time. I might not even be able to see all the things that we are creating in this new earth, but I know I am part of one of the pioneers of that new earth by teaching everything that I do, by putting my energy in building community where I live, bringing people together, helping people connect with their genius, helping people build conscious wealth and use money in a wise way. I'm very hopeful because I can see women connect with their power, with their beauty, with their gifting, healing themselves. And I know that every time a woman wakes up and reconnects with her power, it's slowly healing the collective.
Yeah. And then that helps everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's inspiring also for other women who are also thinking of, okay, I want to quit this 9-to-5 job, but I don't know how to do it. I see these women do it. They've only started 6 months, 12 months ago, and they're making more money than they were before, and they're way happier and way healthier. Maybe I can do it too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that the more people that get off of that, what is it called, hamster wheel or whatever, where they're going to work and commuting and not happy, then the more joy people will have and the higher the vibration will be for them and the people around them, and like you said, the collective, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's interesting that you're mentioning that because, I was explaining how masculine energy is warm energy, right? Feminine energy is cold energy. So when you spend so much time in your masculine, and it's necessary, when you have a business, you and I right now, we're in our masculine, and that's great because you need to be in that energy sometimes. But if you're always goal setting and pushing and hustling, which we are taught to do, you're always in that warm energy, which is slowly then going to burn you out.
Hence that term. That makes sense.
I mean, even our language knows about it.
Wow, well said.
So we are really invited to go back to our feminine, to bring the cold energy back, to slowly heal ourselves physically, but also emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Because the more you are in that feminine energy as well, the more you surrender, you slow down. And it really is when you slow down that you then allow the universe to speed up and to guide you in your life.
Yep, slowing down so you can hear the messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. You remind me so much of the guest I just recorded a show with, because she's basically talks the same type of way as you with the, all your topics and stuff. It's just weird that you guys were like kind of back to back. So that's really fun. Really, really fun. So if you were to say just a few things so I know that most people want to be healthier, wealthier, and happier, right? If you were to say like a couple tips in each of those categories for the listeners, I'm sure it's all in your book, But if they would just wanted to start something today, what wisdom would you want to share with them?
Sure. Well, I really believe that it is by reclaiming your divine feminine energy that you can have both these three things. You're going to be healthier, happier, and wealthier, because feminine energy is also about receiving. It's the receiving energy. And when you move into your feminine energy, that's when you can receive clients, money, and opportunities. And so where to start? I would invite you to have a look at these three wounds that I was talking about. How often are you saying yes where you actually mean no? How often do you dress in a way that is sensual, where you find yourself beautiful and you really own your beauty? Give yourself permission. Because when the feminine feels sensual and she really likes herself physically, it influences and impacts everything that she's going to do during the day. That's why in ancient systems, when you look at the Egyptians, the women, they were spending so much time taking care of their beauty. That's because they knew that once they felt beautiful with these long, dark eyes, they would feel unstoppable. They would really feel connected to their power. And then for the witch one, I would invite you to dare to share your gifts. Give yourself permission to talk about these things that you do in secret, because other people would love to enjoy your genius, enjoy your talents. It's definitely healing for them, and it's freeing for you, because then you let go of the belief that you might be rejected or weird if you are fully yourself. And if you are rejected or weird or called out or criticized for sharing your spiritual experiences or your gifts or all the things that you're really good at, then you're just not surrounded by the right people. And the more you allow yourself to just be in your lights, the more then you're going to magnetize the right people to you.
Oh my gosh, especially the last 2 years. I've really seen a line drawn in the sand and the change in relationships that it's really a trip.
Yes. But that's what we are all called to do. It's to be our most authentic self and not be afraid of sharing our light, because we received it for a reason, and it's not to dim it.
Yeah, I've grown so much this last 2 years. Like, I mean, a lot of the people around me think I'm kind of crazy because like, do you really think angels talk to you? And, like things like that. Like, they don't believe a lot of the stuff that I believe. And I just like, well, sorry, that's just what feels good to me,
Yeah. I think it's also important to understand that not everybody is meant to be spiritual. That is what your soul came here to experience. Definitely the choice of my soul too. But it's not everybody's choice. And that's all right, because we have several incarnations, several experiences on this planet Earth and on other planets. And maybe they've already done the whole spiritual trip. And now they just want to be very material. That's what their soul is desiring. And that's okay. And when you begin that spiritual journey and you start to awaken and you're like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Now I'm living so much better. I'm so much happier. And everything makes so much more sense. You want everybody to be like that, because that's what you wish for the people you love, especially. But it's part of the journey really to recognize and accept that it's not everybody's journey. And that even though we might think that they are missing out or stubborn or anything else, it's their journey. And they might wake up one day if it's supposed to happen or not.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like, we don't even know what our own life contract is. How are we going to know what others are?
Yeah.
But it's just that when they, like, the thing that is annoying, in my opinion, is when you are so excited about something and then you share it and then they like judge you for it. Whereas clearly they're not ready to hear it, you know, they're not aware, but you get excited and you want to share things. Like that's how I find myself being. Like I get excited about learning new things. I just got my Reiki master and my best friend's like, oh, thank you. And my best friend's like, yeah, I'm just not ready for that. She has cancer. And I'm like, I'll come and practice on you. No, it's okay. I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. People fear what they don't understand. And so it's part of, I think it's part of the process to give them the space and compassion they need and just to accept that it's so human.
Yeah, I do. I just figure they're just not ready. So I don't try to force anything on them. Like I don't share my opinion with most people unless they ask. And then I usually say, are you sure you want to know?
Yeah. I also do that.
Yeah. And it's like I learned the hard way, right?
Yes. Especially, do you know a little bit about human design?
No. Teach me. Teach us.
So human design is a whole system that helps you understand how your energy works. And it's a mix of astrology, the chakra system, and the Kabbalah, the tree of life. And it's very interesting. It's based on your date, hour, and place of birth. And it gives you a whole chart that you can download for free online with a lot of numbers and channels, etc. And there's a square on your throat. And when you are a generator, especially, and you have that throat that is colored, you are someone that might have a lot of opinions. So, okay, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. There are 5 different types when you download your chart: generator, manifesting generator, projector, reflector, and manifester. And according to your type, your energy is going to function differently. And so when you are a generator, your energy functions in a way that you need to respond to others. Whereas if you are a manifester, you need to initiate. So if your auric field has the energy of a manifester, you can give your opinion and people are going to be happy to hear it. If your auric field has the energy of a generator and you give your opinion without being asked, nobody's going to want to hear it. Because your strategy is to respond.
Okay, how do you figure out which one you are?
You go on the internet. There are a lot of websites. One that is famous is just myhumandesign.com. And you can find your profile. And then you put your date of birth, hour, and place. And then it gives you the name of your profile. And it's very helpful if you have a business to know how to run a business, but also for your relationships.
Yeah, I was just thinking my husband and I should do this together. It's a fun like little project. I've been married. It will be 32 years next month.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's like you need to keep it fresh, you know, so it's fun to, I don't know, explore new ideas together.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely find someone who would give you a couples reading.
Oh, cool. That's a great idea. So let me ask you a little bit more about your book and like your business. So does your book help people go through all these processes, like with homework assignments and like little things like that?
Yes. So my book really takes you through a whole journey of activating the 6 gifts. So it starts with intuition, with authenticity, and then you move into magnetism, and then intuition, and then surrender, receiving, and finally grounding. And with every gift, I teach and share a lot of concepts like I've just done today. And then there are about 3 exercises per gift. And then you can also download a whole workbook with more exercises. And I'm taking you deeper in the workbook to really help you unlock all these gifts that you already have inside of you.
Sounds amazing. And then you do coaching or something as well.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
So I work with people one-on-one for 12 months because I really like to do deep work. And this work is deep anyway. So I work with people one-on-one, or I also have 2 containers, one that is 9 months that starts every September until June, and another one that is 4 months, and it's actually starting February 1st. And that one is all about making money and how you can align with your feminine energy, your feminine authenticity to make more money in your life or in your business, how you can identify your unique wealth frequency, because we have a different wealth frequency, each person, and you need to align to it to magnetize money to you, and how you can let go of all sorts of blocks that you might have regarding money, mental, emotional, spiritual blocks. So again, it's very deep work that I'm really excited to start February 1st.
Wow. Okay. And then how can people find out about that class?
So the easiest place where to find more information about it is to go on Instagram. My account is at Ele de Posson, ELEDEPOSSON. And then you can click the link in my bio. You have all the details. The early bird price stops tonight, but I'm guessing that when you're going to listen to this episode, it's going to be too late already. But yeah, all the information is there and on my website as well.
Okay. And what's your website?
It's eleonoredeposson.com. I'm going to be sending you the link.
Okay.
So you can share it with the people who are listening. And then on my website, you can also find a free quiz. It's going to take you a few minutes to fill it in, but it's going to help you see which gifts of the feminine you already have active inside of you and which need a little bit more love.
Ah, that's cool. And the reason I like people to say it is because sometimes like people don't go to the show notes page. And so I want, like, if they're driving their car on their way to work and,
yeah, of course,
so are you just your name all over social media?
Yes, all over social media. I mean, I don't really use Facebook anymore. I had a business page, I deleted it. I just chose to focus my attention on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram, you can just follow me there. And if you don't have Instagram, well, you can go and find me on my website. You can simply put my name on Google and you should be able to find me.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people have migrated out of Facebook. So
yeah.
Instagram's more fun, I think, nowadays.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, it has been such a pleasure to meet you, have you on the show.
You.
I really can't wait to read your book.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. So
yes, I'm sure you're going to love it if you liked our conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love the whole idea of unlocking areas in your being, that you just don't even realize that they're there.
Yes. And this work is work that we're not aware that we need. When I started doing this work on myself and really learning about it, I was like, oh, this is what I've been craving the whole time. And I just didn't know that it existed or that it was a thing. And so, yeah, it's very freeing.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait. I'll have to stay in touch with you because I'm serious about this. So I'm going to reach back out after I get your book, finish your book, and then we'll circle back maybe and have another chat about my results.
Awesome. That would be great. I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much again,
Thank you for inviting me.
Ele de Posson.
Yes.
Such a beautiful name too.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Okay, that was another awesome interview with another amazing woman. And I really hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please join me and check out her book. And maybe we can do a fun little, book club together. So anyways, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing day. For complete show notes, head on over to highenergygirl.com/show. Bye for now. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.